Ma'am, don't get out of the car yet. The delivery driver's voice was barely a whisper, but something in his tone made my hand freeze on the door handle. It was 2 a.m., and I was sitting in his sedan outside my daughter's luxury condo in San Diego, holding a white pharmacy bag that should have been delivered to my house, not here. I'm sorry, what? I blinked at him in the rearview mirror. Carlos, his name tag said. Mid-40s, kind eyes, but right now those eyes looked worried, scared even. Please, Mrs. Chen, just wait, 5 minutes. Can you give me 5 minutes? His hands gripped the steering wheel tight enough that his knuckles went white. I looked past him toward Emily's building. The lobby lights were on, and I could see her pacing back and forth inside, phone pressed to her ear. My daughter, my only child. The person who'd called me 3 hours ago, frantic, saying I needed to come right away because the kids were sick and she needed help. Except now there was a white van parked in the circular driveway. Not an ambulance. The words on the side read, Sunset Memory Care, Compassionate Senior Living. Why is there a nursing home van at my daughter's place? The confusion in my own voice scared me. Lately, I'd been confused a lot. Emily said it was normal for 68, but it didn't feel normal. Nothing felt normal anymore. Carlos turned around in his seat, and I saw something in his face that made my chest tighten. Recognition. Pity. Mrs. Chen, when I arrived to deliver your medication, your daughter was outside. She didn't see me park across the street. I heard her on the phone, talking to someone from that facility. So? Maybe she's doing volunteer work, or she was giving them your information. Your social security number. Your medical history. He pulled out his phone. I recorded it. I know I shouldn't have. But my mother. Something similar happened to my mother 2 years ago, and His voice cracked. The world tilted sideways. That's ridiculous. Emily would never. She told them you'd be ready for pickup at 2:15 a.m., that you were experiencing severe cognitive decline, and that you'd already signed the intake papers. Carlos's words came faster now. She said you were a danger to yourself, that you needed immediate placement. I laughed. It came out sharp and brittle in the quiet car. I don't have cognitive decline. I'm fine. I'm completely fine. But even as I said it, I felt the fog in my head, the same fog that had been there for weeks, since Emily started making me those special smoothies every morning. For your health, Mom, full of antioxidants. Oh, God. Mrs. Chen, those pills I just delivered? They're not what your daughter said they were. I'm a pharmacy tech. I know medications. She told you they were for your heart, right? Yes. New prescription, the doctor said. There's no heart medication in this bag. These are sedatives, strong ones, the kind they give people before surgery. He held up the white bag, and suddenly I couldn't breathe. The delivery address on the order was your house, but your daughter called the pharmacy 2 hours ago and changed it to here. Said you were staying with her tonight and that you'd forgotten to tell them. My hands started shaking. I looked down at them, these hands that had balanced spreadsheets for 40 years, that had changed Emily's diapers, that had held my husband's hand as he died 5 years ago. Capable hands, smart hands. When had they started shaking all the time? Emily burst out of the lobby, her face a mask of concern as she hurried toward the car. Behind her, 2 people in medical scrubs emerged from the white van, carrying a clipboard and a wheelchair. A wheelchair. For me. Please, Carlos said urgently. Don't get out. Let me call someone. The police. Anyone. Emily was 10 feet away now, her smile bright and loving and completely wrong. I'd seen that smile before when she was 16 and had totaled my car and lied about it. When she was 25 and I'd caught her stealing from my purse to pay off her credit cards. When she was 30 and her husband left and she'd asked to borrow $50,000 that I never saw again. The same smile she'd given me 6 months ago when she said, Mom, I think you should give me power of attorney, just to make things easier. You know, in case something happens to you. You're not getting any younger. And I worry. I'd signed the papers. Trusted her. Loved her. Mrs. Chen? Carlos's voice pulled me back. What do you want me to do? What did I want him to do? I looked at my daughter, at the van, at the strangers with their wheelchair and their practiced expressions of professional sympathy. I thought about the fog in my head, about how I couldn't remember my neighbor's name anymore, even though I'd known her for 12 years. About how I'd missed my book club last week because I forgot what day it was. About how Emily had started doing all my banking to help me, Mom, because you get so confused with the online system. Except I'd been an accountant. Numbers were my life. I'd built a career on them, retired with a pension and investments and a paid-off house and savings that should have lasted me the rest of my life. How much money is in my checking account right now? I heard myself ask Carlos, my voice distant and strange. I don't know my phone. It's in my purse. Can you check it? The banking app. The password is Maggie1955. I watched Emily's face through the window. She'd stopped smiling. She was staring at Carlos, at me, and now she was pulling out her own phone. Carlos's fingers flew across my phone screen, the silence stretched out like taffy. Then, oh no, oh, Mrs. Chen. How much? $237. But there are transactions here. Withdrawals. Going back 18 months. Transfers to an account belonging to E. Rodriguez. That's my daughter. Emily Rodriguez. She kept her ex-husband's name after the divorce. The fog in my head was starting to lift, burning away in the heat of a terrible, dawning understanding. How much is gone? The largest transfers were to something called Rodriguez Investment Solutions. Amounts ranging from $5,000 to $50,000. Multiple transfers. Mrs. Chen, according to these statements, there should be at least $340,000 in this account. The number hit me like a physical blow. $340,000. My retirement, my security, the money I'd planned to leave to Emily's kids for college, the money I'd saved for 43 years. Gone. Emily was at the car door now, yanking on the handle. Mom! Mom! Open the door! What are you doing? You're sick! You need to come with me right now! Lock the doors, I whispered, and Carlos hit the button. Mom, this is crazy! You're having an episode. These are doctors. They're here to help you. Emily's voice was rising, taking on an edge of panic. The people from the van were behind her now, looking uncertain. I stared at my daughter through the glass. At her expensive highlights that I'd paid for. At her designer purse that I'd bought her last Christmas. At her luxury condo that she'd said was a great investment opportunity. Mom, but I just need help with the down payment. Carlos, I said quietly, call the police. Please. Mom, no, you can't. You're confused. You're sick. Tell him, Dr. Martinez. Emily was pounding on the window now, and one of the people from the van, a middle-aged man with a practiced expression of calm authority, stepped forward. Mrs. Chen, I'm Dr. Martinez from Sunset Memory Care. Your daughter has been very worried about you. She says you've been experiencing significant memory loss, confusion, wandering from your home at odd hours. She's arranged for you to stay at our facility where we can properly assess your condition and— I haven't wandered anywhere, I said, loud enough for them to hear through the glass. I know exactly where I am. I know what day it is. It's December 17th, 2024. It's Tuesday. It's 7 inches the morning. My name is Margaret Ann Chen. I'm 68 years old. I was born in Sacramento, California. I have a bachelor's degree in accounting from San Diego State University, and I worked for Morrison & Associates for 43 years before I retired. Dr. Martinez's expression flickered, just for a second. And I know, I continued, my voice getting stronger, that my daughter has been stealing from me, that she's been drugging me, that these memory issues started right around the time she began making me breakfast smoothies every morning, that she's trying to have me committed so she can take the rest of what I have. Emily's face went white, then red. That's insane! You hear how paranoid she sounds? This is exactly what I've been telling you, doctor. She makes up these elaborate conspiracy theories. She accused the mailman of stealing her jewelry last month. Had I? I tried to remember. The memories were slippery, hard to hold on to. Had I really accused Fred the mailman, who I'd known for 8 years, who always asked about my tomato plants? Or had Emily told me I'd accused him? Mrs. Chen, Dr. Martinez said carefully, why don't you come inside where it's warm, and we can talk about this calmly? No. The word came out firm. Final. Not until the police get here. Carlos had his phone to his ear. Yes, 247 Harbor View Drive. There's a woman being threatened with involuntary commitment, and there's evidence of financial exploitation. Please hurry." "You're calling the police on me?" Emily shrieked. "I'm trying to help her. She's sick. She needs help. How dare you interfere in our family business?" "Your family business?" Carlos's voice was cold. "Lady, I'm interfering because 2 years ago, I watched my mother get driven away in a van just like that one. Her boyfriend had convinced her to sign papers, said she was confused, said she needed care. By the time I figured out what was happening, she'd been in a facility for 3 months, and he'd drained her accounts and disappeared." The words hit the air like stones. "We got her out," Carlos continued, "but the damage was done. The pneumonia she caught in that place killed her 6 months later. So yeah, I'm interfering. Someone should have interfered for her." Emily was crying now. Big theatrical sobs. "Mom, please, please. I love you. I'm trying to take care of you. You're not thinking clearly. Those pills are for your heart condition. Your doctor prescribed them." Dr. Weinstein. You remember Dr. Weinstein, don't you? Did I? I tried to picture my doctor. Couldn't quite bring his face into focus. "When was my last appointment with Dr. Weinstein?" I asked. Emily blinked. Last month. You don't remember? That's exactly what I mean, Mom. You're losing time. You're forgetting important things. "Carlos," I said, "can you call Dr. Weinstein's office? The number should be in my contacts. Ask them when my last appointment was." "It's 2 a.m., Mrs. Chen. The office won't be. There's an emergency line for after-hours prescription questions. They'll have my records." 5 minutes later, Carlos hung up. "Your last appointment was 14 months ago, a routine physical. You were in perfect health. The nurse says there's no record of any heart condition, no prescriptions for heart medication, and no appointments scheduled." The silence was deafening. Emily's face had gone from white to gray. They made a mistake. Their records are wrong. I took you there myself last month. I sat in the waiting room. Stop. My voice didn't sound like my own. It sounded ancient, broken. "Just stop lying to me." Red and blue lights appeared at the end of the street, growing closer. Emily saw them and her face crumpled. "Mom, please, please, I can explain. I was going to pay it all back. I just needed time. The kids need things. You don't understand how expensive it is to raise 2 kids alone. The school fees, the food, the clothes, and my business. It's almost profitable. I just need a little more time to—" "Your business?" The laugh that came out of me was ugly. "Emily, you don't have a business. You've never had a business. You have a website and a dream and a stack of credit card bills." 2 police cars pulled up, and officers got out. Dr. Martinez and his colleague were already backing away toward their van, clearly wanting no part of whatever was about to happen. A female officer approached my window. Carlos unlocked the doors, and she opened mine gently. "Mrs. Chen, I'm Officer Sarah Wilson. Can you tell me what's going on here?" And I did. All of it. The smoothies, the fog, the missing money, the fake medical emergency, the pills that weren't for my heart. Carlos showed her the pharmacy bag, explained what it contained, showed her my phone, the bank statements, the transfers to Emily's accounts. Emily tried to explain, tried to justify, tried to cry her way out of it. "She's my mother! I was trying to help her. She's confused. She's sick. She gave me that money. She wanted me to invest it for her. Did you give your daughter permission to transfer $340,000 from your account?" Officer Wilson asked me directly. "No, I didn't even know it was gone until 20 minutes ago." "Mrs. Chen, do you know what day it is?" "December 17th, 2024. Tuesday, 2:47 a.m. approximately." "Do you know where you are?" 2,247 Harbor View Drive, San Diego. My daughter's condominium. "Do you understand what's happening right now?" "Yes. My daughter has been stealing from me. She's been drugging me to make me seem incompetent so she could have me committed and take the rest of my assets, and she almost succeeded." Officer Wilson looked at Emily with an expression I couldn't quite read. Disappointment, maybe, or just tiredness at seeing the same sad story play out again. "Ma'am, you're going to need to come with us." Emily was still crying, still protesting, as they put her in the back of the police car. She looked at me through the window, and for just a second, I saw my little girl, the one who used to crawl into my bed during thunderstorms, the one who'd made me macaroni necklaces for Mother's Day, the one who'd held my hand at her father's funeral and promised we'd get through it together. Where had that girl gone? When had she turned into this stranger who could look me in the eye and destroy me? Mrs. Chen? Officer Wilson touched my shoulder gently. We're going to need you to come to the station to give a formal statement. But first, do you have somewhere safe to stay tonight? Family? Friends? Family. The word felt hollow. I have a brother, I heard myself say. Alexander. We haven't spoken in years. Emily said he was too busy for family, that he'd moved away and didn't want contact. But what if that was another lie? What if there were so many lies that I didn't know what was true anymore? Do you have his contact information? I tried to remember. Couldn't. Emily handles my phone. She said it was easier if she organized my contacts, put in the important numbers. Oh God, how much had she deleted? How many people had she cut me off from? Mrs. Chen. Carlos spoke up quietly. May I? He held up my phone. Sometimes deleted contacts can be recovered. Let me try. He worked in silence for a few minutes while I sat in the back of Officer Wilson's car, wrapped in a blanket someone had brought, watching my daughter cry in the vehicle ahead. The Sunset Memory Care van had driven away the moment the police arrived. Dr. Martinez would have questions to answer later, Officer Wilson said. About accepting patients without proper medical evaluation. About taking instructions from family members who might not have the patient's best interests at heart. Got it, Carlos said suddenly. Alexander Chen, Los Angeles phone number. Last call to or from this number was 18 months ago. 18 months. Right when the money transfers started. Can you call him? I don't think I can. My voice was shaking again, but not from confusion this time. From fear. Fear that Alex wouldn't answer. Fear that he would. Fear that Emily had poisoned him against me, told him lies about why I'd cut him off. Carlos dialed. Put it on speaker. It rang 4 times and I was sure it would go to voicemail. But then, hello? A man's voice, groggy with sleep. My brother's voice. I'd know it anywhere, even after all this time. Alex? My voice cracked on his name. Silence. Then, Maggie? Maggie, is that you? Oh my God, Maggie, where are you? Are you okay? I've been trying to reach you for over a year, but your number was disconnected, and Emily said you didn't want to talk to me, that you were angry about something, but she wouldn't tell me what, and I started crying. Deep, wrenching sobs that felt like they were tearing me apart. Maggie? What's wrong? What happened? Where are you? San Diego, I managed. Alex, I need help. Something terrible has happened, and I need. I couldn't finish. Couldn't find the words. I'm coming, right now. Text me the address. I'm walking out the door. Alex, it's 3 inches the morning. I don't care. I'm coming. You're my sister. You're my family. Family. The word meant something different now. Something both more and less than it had an hour ago. Officer Wilson drove me to the station while Carlos followed in his car. He didn't have to. His delivery shift had ended. But he stayed. My mom didn't have anyone, he said simply. You do. At the station, I gave my statement. Signed papers. Watched as they pulled security footage from Emily's building that showed her meeting with Dr. Martinez 3 days ago, shaking hands, handing over documents, more evidence, more lies uncovered. A different officer came in around 4 a.m. Detective James Rodriguez, no relation to Emily, he assured me with a grim smile. Mrs. Chen, I need to ask you something. Your daughter's residence at Sunset Memory Care. When we called to inform them that the pickup had been canceled, they mentioned that they had another Chen currently in residence. Alexander Chen, admitted 18 months ago for early-onset Alzheimer's. The room tilted. That's impossible. I just talked to Alex. He's driving here from L.A. He's fine. Detective Rodriguez pulled out a tablet, showed me a photo. A man who looked like my brother, but wrong. Thinner, older, scared. This photo was taken at the facility last week. Mrs. Chen, I think you need to call your brother back. I did. Hands shaking so hard Carlos had to hold the phone for me. Alex, where exactly are you right now? In my car, on the 5 South. About 40 minutes out. Why? What's wrong? What's your address in LA? He gave it. I had Officer Wilson look it up. It was an apartment building. His name was on the lease, had been for 3 years. Alex, when was the last time you saw Emily? Not since your husband's funeral. 5 years ago. She said you didn't want me coming around, that I reminded you too much of the old days, that you needed space. I tried to respect that, but Maggie, it killed me. You're all I have left. Alex, Emily told me you had Alzheimer's. She said you didn't recognize her anymore, that you'd been placed in a care facility, that it was too painful for me to visit. The silence on the other end was long. Heavy. Maggie, he finally said, his voice tight with something that might have been rage. I am 56 years old. I run a consulting business. I have perfect health except for high cholesterol. I don't have Alzheimer's. I've never been in a care facility. Detective Rodriguez was already on his phone, barking orders. Within 20 minutes, we had confirmation. There was an Alexander Chen at Sunset Memory Care, but it wasn't my brother. It was my uncle. My father's brother, who I'd lost touch with years ago after a family dispute, who had no other living relatives that anyone knew of, who had been declared mentally incompetent 18 months ago by a doctor who turned out to be Dr. Martinez, who had signed over power of attorney to a niece named Emily Rodriguez, who had assured the facility that she was his only living family, that she would take care of everything. They found 6 others. 6 other elderly people in that facility, all declared incompetent, all with suspiciously similar paperwork, all with family members who'd agreed to commitment and signed over financial control. Family members who, when the police tracked them down, turned out to be Emily and 2 partners running an elaborate scheme. My uncle Alexander was freed at 6 a.m. They brought him to the station, confused, frightened, but lucid, perfectly, heartbreakingly lucid. He'd been trying to tell people for months that he didn't belong there, that his niece was lying, that he was fine. No one had listened. Why would they? He was old. He was in a memory care facility. Obviously, he was confused. Maggie? He stared at me with tears running down his face. Little Maggie? I thought everyone had forgotten about me. We held each other and cried. 2 old people who'd been thrown away by someone they'd trusted, someone they'd loved. My brother Alex arrived at 6:30, burst through the station doors looking wild-eyed and terrified. When he saw me, saw Uncle Alex, his face crumpled. Oh, Maggie! Oh, God, what did she do to you? The 3 of us sat in that police station as the sun came up over San Diego, and we pieced together the truth. Emily had been planning this for years, since her divorce, since her money troubles started. She'd systematically isolated me from everyone who might question her, my brother, my friends, my book club that I'd supposedly quit because I wasn't interested anymore. She'd found Uncle Alexander in county records, discovered he had a modest savings account and no immediate family. Easy prey. She'd drugged me with low doses of benzodiazepines mixed into my morning smoothies. Not enough to incapacitate me completely, but enough to make me fuzzy, forgetful, suggestible. Enough that when she suggested I give her power of attorney, it seemed reasonable. Enough that I signed papers without reading them carefully. Enough that I didn't notice my bank balance dropping. How much did she take from you? Uncle Alex asked quietly. $340,000. She got 80 from me, plus my house she sold it 6 months ago, said the money would go toward my care. 8 victims total. Over $1 million stolen. Countless lives disrupted. Families destroyed. Trust shattered. Emily was charged with elder abuse, financial exploitation, fraud, conspiracy, and kidnapping. Her partners, including Dr. Martinez, were arrested before noon. The facility was shut down pending investigation. The district attorney offered Emily a deal: extensive probation, restitution, mandatory therapy, community service, in exchange for information on other potential victims and a guilty plea. No prison time if she complied fully. Part of me wanted to see her in prison, wanted her to suffer the way she'd made me suffer. But another part, the part that was still her mother, knew that prison wouldn't fix anything, wouldn't undo the damage, wouldn't give me back the daughter I thought I had. She needs help, I told the DA. Real help, not punishment, help. That's very generous, Mrs. Chen. It's not generous. It's practical. She's sick. Prison doesn't cure sick. It just warehouses it. They recovered most of the money. Not all, some had been spent, squandered on Emily's lifestyle, her failing business ventures, her children's private school tuition. But most of it came back. The house Uncle Alex had lost was reclaimed and sold again, the proceeds returned to him. Carlos came to see me 3 days later at the hotel where Alex had insisted I stay while we figured out what came next. He brought soup and bread from his mother's favorite restaurant, his mother who had died, who I would never meet, but who had somehow saved my life through her son's vigilance. "I can't thank you enough," I started to say, but he shook his head. "Mrs. Chen, you don't owe me thanks. I owe you an apology. I almost didn't say anything. I almost let you get out of that car because I thought maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was projecting my own trauma onto your situation. Maybe it wasn't my place to interfere. But you did interfere. You saved me. My mom didn't have someone to interfere. She didn't have a stranger who recognized the signs because he'd seen them before. She didn't have anyone who cared enough to risk looking foolish or intrusive." His eyes were wet. "I couldn't save her. But maybe saving you, maybe that means something. Maybe that means her story, her loss. Maybe it mattered for something." I took his hand. This stranger who had become something more. It mattered. She mattered. And so do you. 3 months later, I was living in a small house in Los Angeles, just 20 minutes from Alex's apartment. We had dinner every Sunday. Uncle Alexander lived in a retirement community nearby, not a care facility, just a regular community for active seniors. He'd joined their poker club. Was dating a woman named Dorothy. Was, for the first time in 18 months, actually living. Emily was in therapy, court-mandated, but she was attending. I got letters from her sometimes. Apologies, explanations, justifications that weren't really justifications at all. I didn't always read them. Some wounds need time. Her children, my grandchildren, came to visit once a month, supervised by their father, Emily's ex-husband. He'd had no idea what she was doing. Was horrified when he found out. Was trying to repair the damage to his kids, who were confused and angry and grieving the mother they thought they knew. I was trying to repair, too, myself, my trust, my sense of safety in the world. I'd started volunteering at an elder abuse prevention hotline. 3 days a week, I answered calls from seniors who were worried, confused, afraid, who needed someone to tell them that their concerns were valid, that they weren't crazy. That trust should be earned, not blindly given, even to family, especially to family. Carlos called sometimes, just to check in. He'd been promoted at the pharmacy, his quick thinking and ethical standards hadn't gone unnoticed. We met for coffee monthly. Swapped stories about our lives, our healing, our mothers, who we both missed for different reasons. "Do you forgive her?" he asked me once, 6 months in. "Your daughter?" I thought about it. Really thought. I forgive the girl she was. The one who had potential, who I believed in, who I thought would grow up to be kind and strong and honest. I stirred my coffee slowly, watching the cream swirl into patterns. But the woman she became? The one who could look me in the eye and drug me and steal from me and try to lock me away? I don't know if I forgive her. I don't know if I should. I don't know if forgiveness is even the right goal. What is the right goal? Survival, I think. Healing. Making sure this never happens to anyone else if I can help prevent it. Living the rest of my life on my own terms, not in fear, not in anger, just living. That sounds like a good goal. It's the only one I have right now. It's enough. At night, sometimes, I still dreamed about that moment in the car, the moment Carlos told me to wait, the moment everything could have gone differently. In the dreams, sometimes I get out of the car. I go with Emily. I end up in that facility, foggy and lost and alone, while she spends my money and erases my life. But then I wake up, in my own bed, in my own house. With my phone on my nightstand showing texts from Alex about Sunday dinner plans, from Uncle Alexander about the poker game he won, from Carlos checking if I need anything from the pharmacy, from Emily's children, telling me about school, about soccer, about the science project that won second place. Not from Emily. Never from Emily. Not yet. Maybe not ever. That's okay. Some doors, once closed, stay closed. Some trust, once broken, can't be repaired. Some relationships don't survive betrayal, and that's not failure, that's just truth. But other relationships? They surprise you. The delivery driver who becomes a friend, the brother you reconnected with, the uncle you saved who saved you right back, the strangers on the helpline who trust you with their fears and let you help them find safety. Those are family too. Different than what I thought family meant. Better, maybe. Built on choice instead of obligation. On action instead of blood. I'm 68 years old. I'm a survivor of elder abuse. I'm a volunteer, a sister, a friend, a great aunt to children I'm learning to know again. I'm a woman who almost lost everything and somehow found something better in the aftermath. And every day, I remember to check my bank account, to read my own mail, to question what people tell me, even when they say they love me, especially when they say they love me, because love without truth is just another kind of cage. And I've spent enough time in cages. I'm free now. And I'm never going back.